So cool.
Sorry, guys, I've got my dogs barking in the background.
What are you doing, Envy?
I went to get shopping at a car because the wife was on my case. And I'm in enough trouble this week. I don't need any more. You know what I mean?
I think you better stop recording Calvin before he gets himself dug a bigger hole.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Dance Party 247 podcast. You've got myself, DJ Envy, DJ Wongy, DJ T, and today we have a special guest, which is the CEO, founder of BeatHubz, Calvin Audio Dice. Welcome.
How you doing? You all right?
Yes,
Yep,
we do.
Yeah,
good.
yeah, you.
Yeah. All good. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. If you want to just give us a little intro about yourself, what you've done, just explain who you are basically, and then we'll move on from there.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So my name's Calvin. My DJ name is Audio Dice. I've been in and out of music for 20 years or so. Run various different music brands. I currently run a brand called House Party Events, and we do events in Cyprus, Ibiza. Was supposed to be Amsterdam, Portugal, and all kinds of places. Barcelona in 2020. For obvious reasons, that didn't happen. And as the brand was growing, I became quite aware that for my resident DJs and for the brand, people only see you on a Friday night or a Saturday night. And I started to come up with the ideas of live streaming. Now, this was all pre-pandemic in 2020. So we actually launched an app. And it was a smartphone app, and we successfully launched it, and it was actually like a private social media for music. So we were trying to come up with the concept for the app, and the name BeatHubz came from the beat, so 4/4 beat and dance music, and hubs like incubation hubs, like you would get in like a business center with young businesses in, and they normally have people there. So BeatHubz is sort of stuck, and we chucked a hashtag in the front of it because you hashtag stuff on social, so it was hashtag BeatHubz. That's where the name come from. So we had all the designs and artwork and stuff done, launched the app, thinking we were going to take over the world, and it didn't really do much. We quickly realized that people are happy on the social medias they're on. We created all these what we called hubs, so they're groups. There was a producer hub, a DJ hub, there was a gig swap hub. So I'd started doing gig swaps myself and getting gigs all over the world, and I really wanted to get other people to be doing that. And we got people on there, and you could live stream on there, but because it was a dedicated app that we'd had built, you could only live stream inside of the app.
Right.
So people were doing it, going, "Oh, can I send it to my Facebook? Can I send it to my YouTube? Here, there, everywhere." And we were like, "Nah, you can't do that." And then we confirmed the amount of coding we'd need to do to then do that. We just thought, do you know what? There's a better way of doing this. Now, whilst this was going on, we were starting to hear about COVID in the news. People were on my case going, "Oh, is our trip to Cyprus going to be cancelled? Is this going to be?" And I was like, "Nah, it'll be all right. Don't worry about it." Little did I know, rewind 10 months, what would happen. So we started creating a web platform for house party events. It was for live streaming, and this was just as people started the first lockdown. And then George, who's my business partner, who I work with on other IT projects, George sort of said to me, "You know what, we could make something of this if we go in on it together." And we agreed to do that, and we turned what was supposed to be this house party branded live streaming platform into BeatHubz. We basically took the branding from the app, ditched the app, took what I'd done with House Party, put them together, and then just kind of launched BeatHubz. And that was about 8 months ago, I think. So we kind of come up with the concept, and then we were just talking before we started, going on recording, and it's gone from strength to strength. It's been painful at times, but we've got good support and good companies using it, and serious music industry people, and it's now starting to snowball for us. It's all of these lockdowns. At the time of this recording, we're just going into this new tier 5. We only had 3 tiers a few weeks ago. And the whole situation is not getting any better, and we're still ridiculous miles away from the music industry returning to any level of normality. So in a nutshell, that's kind of the story of BeatHubz and how it started, and up to where we are now, really.
I remember coming across BeatHubz and obviously searching for platforms that suit what we require in streaming for Dance Party 24/7. I came across you, and you do everything a little bit unique and personal. It was before you actually go and join us, how about we sit down and talk through the product, what I've got, obviously in terms of talking through the site, any questions. You rang me, and unfortunately I think I was in the middle of cooking tea because I forgot that we had that appointment.
Sounds about right to me.
Yeah. then that was August, and then having had a look at the platform and doing quite a bit of research, that it just didn't have some of the features that you now currently have. Could you sort of expand in terms of your journey, in terms of the features that have come online, and obviously then taking us through 2021, where we end up being sort of with the features that are all listener orientated and also DJ orientated?
Yeah, sure. So I think that everybody who launched a live streaming platform, including some of the bigger, more established players in the industry, all to a certain degree threw something together, and they all had incredible issues, connection issues, and all kinds of stuff. And the journey for us started with stabilizing that, making sure that the core nuts and bolts of the service or the product was there to be able to stream. And then we started to bolt on add-ons and features and all that type of thing. So I know, like you said, when we first started speaking, you weren't warm enough to it to sort of commit and try it. But it's great that you've seen the journey that we've taken the platform on quite quickly. And kind of, if you ask a business entrepreneur or somebody who runs a business about describe a business to you, they kind of the classic thing is an iceberg. People see what's above the water, but they don't see everything else that goes on. 20-hour days, day in, day out, for months and months and months, on top of dealing with a pandemic and other businesses that I own that have it's been an incredibly tough year in 2020. So I'm operating 3 different businesses, as well as launching BeatHubz. So it's been tough, but we pushed through, and we've created some really, really cool features. And we had some development team issues. We had to dump a development team, start a new one, and that the time that takes sort of delayed us a little bit. But now we've got the team are rolling out new features constantly. So our restreaming feature, you can restream to unlimited other channels, and there's loads of new exciting features that are coming into that. I'm not going to say just yet, because I want to kind of come out publicly at the right time. But all else, we're gonna smash everybody else out of the park with the features that we're adding to the restream. We've got the DJ tips or donations that some people want to use that feature for. That's in some of the bigger platforms. People like Twitch have that. And there is a whole mountain of features that we're going to unleash over the coming months, that is going to project us to the top, and we're not going to stop. So we're that's kind of the place that we're at now. Just touching, really appreciate the recognition there of the service that we offer. My attitude with anything, not just work or businesses or whatever, is that if you don't have customer service, you don't have anything. You've got to look after your people. You've got to give extra. You've got to go the extra mile. You've got to bend over and help people all you can. And you know what you do? You find yourself surrounded by the right type of people. And so, we like the other live streaming platforms had lots of issues to start with. And I think now the people that are around us that are supporting us and that are using the platform can see that we don't stop and we won't stop in, if there's something that needs to be fixed, we'll fix it. If there's improvements to be made, we will listen. And I think that the most important thing is Sony PlayStation's slogan is for the players. And it's an apt slogan to have. This is about the streamers, not about us, and making money off the back of it. One of the biggest questions that we get asked is, why are you charging for your platform? So the obvious answer is, well, if you want to stream legally, the music industry has music licensing. And guess what? A proper legal platform has to pay licensing fees to artists. And I think more than ever, artists who've been making music for years, every single artist in the world is struggling right now. Every DJ in the world, you had these DJs on 50, 60 grand an hour and they're now on nothing. They're literally, so even more than now, the general public need to return to the music industry to support the survival of it for the future. So our fees that we charge monthly for the subscriptions go into the licensing fees, the development fees, the staffing, the operation, like any business. So the licensing is the key thing that obviously we have to cover the pricing for. And I've always hand on heart genuinely run companies to the best of my ability, completely legal and above board. That takes time to grow, but what, you come out at the end of it, and the people that are around you are the correct sort of people, the people who are serious about music, the people in the industry, and that shows. So yeah, I hope that answers that question.
Well,
So,
yeah,
I mean, I would like to add something to that with the costing of the of your platform itself, as in for having a channel. It's not a huge amount of money.
No,
it really ain't. It's the top package is $17.99.
Yeah, the one which is for brands, it's 17.
Yeah, and the starter package, I believe, is $9.99.
$9.99.
Yeah, I mean, and then you got $15.99, $14.99.
$14.99 for the middle package.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, that's not a lot of money, is it? It really isn't.
Well, we've paid to encode. Obviously, there's free encoders out there. We used a paid service as a browser because some of the DJs didn't have the capability at the time to do it straight from their PCs. And we've got another platform that we're gradually getting rid of because everything, obviously, the features you're bringing online, we will not need that platform one iota, which again is another cost. So we're going to save costs just coming to you all in one package.
Yeah.
So
completely legal and all above board, isn't it? That's the thing. That was for us. That was
our costs.
That was the most important thing.
Yeah, I mean, for us, having a legal stream is always our goal. Obviously, you have Mixcloud, but they just didn't have what we needed. And when we first come across BeatHubz, you guys didn't quite have what we wanted. You didn't have embeddable streams. You didn't have a few other bits and pieces. And then we come across you again a few months later, and you'd gone from sort of level 1 to level 10. Like, you jumped so fast.
Yeah.
And that was what was appealing to us. And as T said earlier, another big thing was that we got to speak to the guy in charge. We weren't speaking.
There's no other company you'll get that. No other company.
No.
You're not speaking to a computer. You're not speaking to a sales assistant. We got to speak to the people that actually do the graft each and every day, and that does show good customer service. And you can't, like you say, you can't beat that. If you're there doing it yourself, like we do, we speak to all our DJs ourselves. We ain't got no one in between. We do all our own work, and that does go a long way.
Yeah, well, you know what they say: if you want a job done right, you do it yourself.
Yeah, that's why we don't ask Wongy to do nothing.
Yeah, exactly. You zoom yet?
Sorry?
Do I know him well enough to abuse him yet?
Don't go.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
ahead. Go ahead. You got our permission. Go ahead.
I'll just touch on there if that's all right. So first of all, you said about the pricing. So, yes, this is a business, and guess what? Businesses are there to survive and hope some money at some point. But
Yes.
this isn't about charging loads of money to the streamers and the people that are streaming from their front room. This is about music. To most of us, 99% of us, is our escapism from the good, the bad, the ugly.
Absolutely, yeah.
When stuff's going on in your life, we all know that actually you can listen to some tunes, and it's bizarre, isn't it? You can listen to a track and it be like the most epic track of your life, but the same track in a different situation in your life can be like the saddest track, but makes you reflect. And we're all sadly getting older, can't do nothing about that. But it's the point of that is that the music is your life, music is what we all live for, music is our passion. And we want the platform to be affordable for people who can afford it in any walk of life,
Yes.
especially now. And that's why we give people free trials. Come and use the full platform for free for a month with no obligation to stay, because if our product is as good as we say it is, people should be able to come and try it, and we don't need to tie them into contracts, because they should see what we're doing and what we're offering.
Yeah.
And they should want to stay. I don't want somebody to come on the platform and go, oh, I might as well use it. I got tied into a 12-month contract. It's not the gym. None of us use it.
What I would say as well, you've positioned the platform to whereby you've got literally, as you said, the guy in your front room or the bedroom DJ, or we did a podcast about the kitchen DJ, seemed to be emerging on their social media.
Yeah.
The same DJ, just different title, but we know that can be quite a derogative term as well. Yeah, in terms of certain DJs using that as a put down. But the bottom line is you've got a passion to play music. If you've got a piece of equipment that allows you to do that, got an internet connection for very little money compared to someone like us who's want to take a bit more serious, make a brand, make obviously a future, can all sit together on the same platform.
Yeah.
And that on the whole is kind of a key thing with the whole platform, isn't it? Because you're not just advertising to your professional DJs or your radio stations, you're catering for everyone. And I don't think there is many platforms that actually do that, where it's actually affordable.
No.
I'll give my time to anybody that wants it, and that needs it. We just had a guy sign up. Obviously won't say his name. He's an older guy, doing a kind of a sort of like a Sunday Motown style, radio. Started it in lockdown, same as what I said before, for his sanity. And he's not really used a computer much. He's just his age is not really, and he was really struggling the other day, and we jumped on, took control of his computer, sorted everything out, and within 10 minutes he was streaming and he was happy. And I always kind of talk very carefully, because I never want to try and come across that I'm just plugging away at the platform, but again, it's just that to me is standard. That's what you do for people, and then they come back.
Yep.
And without you asking, they help you later, so
Well, we're just talking off
that was kind of a plug, but it wasn't intentional.
Well, we were just talking
the
off
same
off
thing,
air.
didn't we, Steve? We've done the same thing. We had a DJ, I will mention his name because he's a sound bloke, Anessa. He's one of our deep house D&B DJs, however you want to put him.
Yeah.
And he weren't great with computers, and I actually took the time to drive from my house in Essex to northwest London to actually set him up.
Yeah.
And you don't normally get that from people who run radio stations. It just don't happen. And now he's running Instagram for us. We just leave him, he gets on with it, and he's doing a great job.
Yeah.
So we gave something to him, he's gave something back, and
it's a mutual
sort of
benefit. That's how things should be.
Yeah. Give and take. Yeah.
It's a good working relationship. We don't do it to get stuff back, just like yourself. We're not doing things for people so we get something back from them because we want them to do stuff for us. We're doing it because it's the right thing to do. Number one.
Yes. Yeah.
I get
Well, The videos you have on the site as well, and I know that we have spoken to you about obviously maybe adding some more in terms of different platforms. We use Streamlabs, and you've got an OBS video in there how to get started, but that's actually inspired going back us to do some of the technical stuff that we ask DJs to do that seems to be relatively straightforward, and was like, okay, we need to learn from other people. It's like we need to put a video out of what we really mean to show people what to do. So again, your platform has it in terms of those who have some knowledge can look at your videos for reference in your resource help center and support center. But also, like you said, if need be, you got somebody who will actually give them a call and take control of the computer and literally set up for them a one-stop shop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and again, that should just be standard with the sort of thing that we offer. So we'll be adding more and more videos as time goes on. Because obviously, new features will come that won't appear in the videos we recorded previously. So, but then that's just on that task list like this.
Yeah,
and we know it takes a lot of time to do that, because we just talked off air that for Love and for everything that he does, when he works really well. Mr. Wongi decided to put an advert out, a flyer, DJs wanted, with an email, and we've had 21 replies back to that. Some more professional DJs looking for paid work. And obviously this is not paid work, but it may well end up being that way if we can work a brand and get out and start gigging in the real world. And obviously, and everyone in between to the DJ who's obviously just started. But then what we see is, okay, great, the inquiries, but then that's going to be at least 45 minutes. Every one of those, we need to sit down, make sure they've got the right equipment. They're not going through a Mac, because a Mac's horrible to stream on. I have to say, we have to be a PC and to sit down and obviously take them through and make sure they're okay and get to know them as well. So that just creates. So we told Wongi to stop saying any more in conversations and kill everything, because we've got over 10 days worth of work in one shot from one advert. But it's the same as what you're saying before. It takes time out of your day. Yeah. And you obviously were a little bit late starting the podcast today, because you said you've got 60 things to do. And to take time out of your day as a CEO, most don't. Yeah. But obviously keeping to the roots, keeping to the ground level. Yeah, obviously makes you unique, and that was a selling point for us. Put it this way, you had a legal stream and it was embeddable, so you had us at that point. But from there on in, the service that we received has been second to none.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
I mean, I will add that goes for George as well.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Because obviously I think George gets forgotten in the wind sometimes, doesn't he? Because he's not the face, where Calvin's the face. And George is the guy behind the scenes who does all the tech work. So that goes for George as well, because without George, none of this would work.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
100%. He's like me and T are the George of Dance Party, because you've got Wongi, who don't really do much, and then there's me and T, who's good eye candy.
It's good eye candy for podcasts. I'll give him that.
If you get time, Calvin. If you go back and watch we put out a blooper reel. Mr. Wongi goes on about a minute rant, and it is absolutely. He'd been drinking. Heavily. If you do get a chance, just have a look on YouTube, and if you like, to have a little listen. But it is funny.
You're already giving me ideas for stuff. So first thing, I thought somebody needs to create a channel called the Kitchen Sessions, right? On beat.
Yeah.
And one of my DJs, Brian H, messaged me earlier, and he was like, another lockdown. He was like, right. He was like, do you want to do some stuff on BeatHubz? So I don't know why he wants to do this, but I'm well up for helping him. He wants people to dare him, and then he's live stream doing himself doing some dares.
Okay.
Oh, that's a dodgy one, isn't it?
Health and safety out the window anyway, straight away.
I think I'll look into that show.
Make sure I tag you in this when this goes out, and we'll perhaps follow up with what he's done. So, but
I'm sure we can find some hilarious ones. Yeah.
Oh, I've got loads. They're all sitting there waiting. I won't mention them, but they're all sitting there already.
Cool.
One thing I do want to touch on, Calvin, is obviously you can have channels for pay-per-view, basically, can't you?
Yeah. So
that's something you was looking at doing or have done.
no, that's done. We've got people using it. So you have like between 3 and 5 separate channels within your one account. And just depending on which package you pick. So the idea behind that was kind of the middle package is like for the individual DJ, but he might have different genres of music. They might have like so I've created one called the BeatHubz Golden Circle, and it's a television channel, so a bit more of a YouTube-y channel. And then we're putting content out on that. Then we've got one for, you know, dance music, one for house music, you know, whatever it is. And then the branded channel, like what you guys use for Dance Party, is you've got up to 5 independent channels. So what that means is, although you're paying $17.99 a month, you could actually have up to 5 DJs streaming live at the same time on 5 independent channels, and that is unique to us. Nobody else.
Yeah. When we had the influx of DJs, we were thinking, where do we fit them all in the timetable? If we do get that, we've got a second channel, a third channel. Yeah. Makes a big difference.
Computer like mine with 6 monitors, because you realise you need that next. So
I've actually been looking at another monitor
in my studio to keep an eye on it all.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to hold you too long, Calvin, but I have kind of a question that may well let's be able to finish with is what's holding what is going to come out of the industry, the DJ industry, for one, and two, where will the future of BeatHubz, once we can do some sort of reality back again like we were, where does BeatHubz fit into that in the future?
So this is my opinion that I explain to people when they ask me that question. So if you think of gamers, you know, PlayStation, Xbox, right? They have been live streaming for years, and you know what? There's kids making millions of pounds a year from live streaming.
Crazy, isn't it?
Doing it for years, right? When I was a kid, we got our first Sky TV. It was called like 9X. It was some horrible orange little box thing, and there's your Sky package. You've got all your sports, you've got all your, you know, boxing, blah blah blah, the boxing channel, right? And then that turned into pay-per-view, and I remember at the time going, you're having a laugh, 30 quid to watch a football match, nobody's going to do that. Yeah. How many millions a year do they make out of that? My opinion is that live streaming just hadn't yet hit the music industry, and the whole COVID pandemic has just given it a massive kick up the behind. You know, I think all of us at some point in our life have tried to get a gig ticket and it's sold out. Now imagine that there's a virtual option for that. Yeah. So actually,
You're never going to sell out, are you? That's the thing.
Going to sell out. Mr. Successful Promoter sells out, and then he can keep selling tickets at an unlimited rate for people to watch it online. The next thing is that how many people live in the UK? They might be single parents. They might not be, unfortunately, a high earner, and they can't afford to always go out, but watch shows for either free or for a few pounds donation, and get their friends round. And that's hopefully that just speaks for itself. You know, when live comes back, as in we can actually go to a club and to an event, you just merge the two together, and I think that's what's going to happen in the industry.
That is something that me and T have been speaking about recently, because obviously we thought things were going to be opening up to some sort of normality by the summer, but I don't think that's going to happen now. And we was talking about obviously putting on some small events to start with, and just live streaming them. And that was our intention, which now has been brought to an abrupt halt by Mr. Johnson again.
Yeah. Well, I think the beauty of it is obviously you got, you know, laptops, mobile devices, everything is so much more accessible than it was. We had the concept 10, 12 years ago when we first got into this area of DJing, and it wasn't quite stable enough. Obviously, everywhere has Wi-Fi now, and so much faster Wi-Fi as well. That I guess if you're not streaming, you're falling behind, aren't you? You're not covering all your bases, are you? In 2021.
I wonder how many DJs were making it in 2020 who have, for whatever reason, personal or otherwise, decided not to live stream yet. And I think we all know in the music industry, in every genre and every aspect, people come and go. Unfortunately, that's the way things are.
Yeah.
and other people stay. You know, the smart musicians that I've ever kept an eye on, they all start up record labels when they're big, and then they start signing the new fresh artist, and then they become the back man. You know, the bottom of the iceberg again. You know, and they're the most successful and influential people in the music industry, in my opinion. You know, I think that anybody that isn't live streaming, you know, you kind of took the words there. You know, they're falling behind everybody else. You
Yes.
know,
I mean, we've got a good example of that. We had a DJ put in an application. We didn't actually put in an application, he messaged us and said, is it live streaming or is it recorded?
Mm.
And one of our DJs actually said to him, I won't mention the names. Yeah, basically, if you're not going to live stream and you're going to rock up with a crappy little, you know, kiddly little controller, then this is not the place for you.
Mhm.
And that I think that hits it on the nail, isn't it? People,
Yes.
in order to get yourself out there, you've got to be live, because no one wants to watch a recorded show.
Yeah.
And you don't have the interaction as well, especially when if you didn't have the option to see somebody interactive, great, go to YouTube, go to whatever platform the videos are on. But if you've got the option to live interact and maybe even get a shout out or just recognition, you can talk in the community side on the comments. That's going to be more of an experience than just watching somebody deadpan, which you can stop, because you don't know what's coming around the corner. Live streaming, they could take twists and turns that you want, and you're sitting on the edge of your seat to listen to. But a live recording, push stop, fast forward, rewind. Yeah, it's not the same experience at all.
No.
Yeah.
No.
What I would say is, if anybody is listening to this and considering to start live streaming, perhaps they haven't done it yet and they're at the beginning of their journey, if you're planning on having DJs playing on your channel back to back and you're like, yeah, I'm going to do this like 10-hour show, the bit of advice I would give you is, yeah, keep your DJs live, but I would always have a couple of backup recordings, because when somebody can't connect to a stream key and you're going, it's 5 to the hour they're supposed to be on and your hair's falling out, then it's good to have a backup of a couple of streams. But yeah, you know, you can't live interact with a crowd if you're not live streaming. So
Obviously, yeah.
because
I mean, we do have recorded shows setting up, but generally, we're so thorough with our test streams when we test DJs to make sure that everything's bang on. Like New Year's Eve, we done 2 days, and it went pretty well. We didn't really have any problem.
We had one DJ didn't turn up, but we had a contingency that if that was the case, then obviously we got it covered, and we got it covered. Anyway, what we're going to do, Calvin, I think we've taken more than enough of your time. Is there anything you would like to say before we close this off at all?
Yeah, I'm just going to do a shameful plug. So, you know, if anyone's listening, they're looking for the best live streaming platform and the only one that has the personal touch. You know, I won't go into too much more, but we have the BeatHubz Golden Circle, where you get direct support on growing your channel from us and from me direct. Then obviously, you know, check us out. BeatHubz.com/packages is where you can get the packages. And if you're listening to this in the month of January 21, you can use the code JANFREE21, so JANFREE21, and you're going to get a free month. And then shortly after that, you'll be speaking to me and I'll be helping you set up your package. So, you know, hopefully this reaches some more people and inspires them to jump onto the live streaming wagon and come and join the rest of us and start growing yourself a channel and start growing yourself a following.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your time today, Mr. Calvin.
No worries.
Thank you very much.
I love that audio dice. I like that name.
Yeah, well, you're going to make me shameful plug myself again. So I'll tell you the history of that just quick before we go.
Go on then.
So years ago, I was doing a back-to-back with one of my good friends, Ash, and he actually came up with the name. And the idea was kind of how I describe BeatHubz is audio, because it's music and we're dicing tracks together. So that was the concept and that name.
Okay.
So it's audio dice, right? So we were doing back-to-back for a good few years, and then we both started to do fairly well, but our music tastes changed. So he continued to play as Ash Turner as his original name, and then I just sort of continued the audio dice legacy on my own. Yeah, and it just stuck.